what is it that you need to trust God with today? What's going on in your life that you need to give over to the Lord and say, God, I can't deal with this. I shouldn't be worrying about it. I'm going to rely on you. I'm going to put it in your hands because that's where it already is and that's where it belongs. Psalm 31, David says this, in you, O Lord, do I take refuge. Let me never be put to shame. In your righteousness, deliver me. Incline your ear to me. Rescue me speedily. Be a rock of refuge for me, a strong fortress to save me. Sounds like David trusts in God. He knows who God is. He knows what God offers to him, this refuge, this safety, this fortress that he can trust in and run into. When the world is crumbling around King David, he goes to the only place that he can go, the only place he needs to go and should go, and that is to the Lord. He says, for you are my rock and my fortress, and for your name's sake you lead me and guide me. You take me out of the net they have hidden for me, for you are my refuge. Into your hand I commit my spirit. You have redeemed me, O Lord, faithful God. David truly trusts in the Lord. He trusts in him for his immediate situation, his safety, the kingdom that he rules over. He trusts him with the long progression of what it's going to be. And he trusts him with his eternal security. He says, for you have redeemed me. You have saved me from myself, from my sins, from my iniquity. You've given me your righteousness. David is trusting in God, and that trust encompasses everything in the present and everything in the eternal and spiritual. That is what true trust in the Lord looks like. And we've got to take note of it. We've got to take a lesson from it. Because, with things going on in the world today, the outlook is not great, okay? I mean, if you read the news, if you look at the headlines, there's nothing good being reported. Nothing good is coming our way. And so we could spend all of our time and effort and energy worrying about it and never do ourselves a bit of good with that. On the other hand, we could just leave it in God's hands because he knows what he's doing and he loves us. And he desires that we trust him as our fortress and our redeemer and our refuge and our rock. That's what he wants from us. He wants us to put that trust in him, just like King David did when his world was crumbling around him. He says, I hate those who pay regard to worthless idols, but I trust in the Lord. What worthless idols are there that others out there might trust in? Certain leaders, certain business owners, people can hold them up as idols and trust in them for their guidance on everything. Or you can be like David and say, I'm going to trust in the Lord. Honestly, that is what God has been showing me in my life, that I just have to put my trust in him because I don't know the end from the beginning. I recently moved from California to Oklahoma. The way has not been completely certain for me. And I've had to just pull back from trying to have my grip of control over everything all the time and say, Lord, you've got it. I can't control it. You know what's going to happen. Into your hand, I commit my spirit. Let's go on and see what he says. In verse 14 and 15, he says, but in you, O Lord, I say, you are my God. My times are in your hand. Man, what an impactful passage. My times are in your hand. Whatever situation you're in, maybe it's a medical condition, you need to realize that your times are in his hand. You will die the day that he decides you will die. You will live for as long as he wants you to live. Your times are not in your times. They are not in your hand. They are in the hand of the Creator. The sovereign controller of the universe has your times in his hand. and he knows everything about you, and he loves you. So you sitting there worrying about things that you really don't have control over, it does no good. In verse 19, David says, "Oh, how abundant is your goodness, which you have stored up for those who fear you, and worked for those who take refuge in you, in the sight of the children of mankind. In the cover of your presence, you hide them from the plots of men. You store them in your shelter from the strife of tongues." Man, God has done amazing things for us. And I encourage you, this is something I do, I encourage you to look back on the hard times of your life and recognize that God made an impact, that God stepped in and he did something. He's done that in my life, and I know he's done it in your life. So you've got to recount those times, do it in your prayer life with the Lord, and praise him for what he's done. And praise him for what he's going to do. He's not going to just leave you hung out to dry all alone on your own. He's with you, and you must trust him that he is. David says in verse 22, "I had said in my alarm, I am cut off from your sight. But you heard the voice of my pleas for mercy when I cried to you for help." So as bad as it ever gets, the first thing you ought to be doing is crying out to the Lord for help. And when you do that, when you quit trusting in yourself, when you quit expecting to be rescued by yourself or someone else, and you truly trust in the Lord to be your rescue, it says he hears you. You heard the voice of my pleas for mercy. Isn't that amazing that when you cry out to God with that intensity, with that decisiveness that he is the only one who can hear you and help you, that he hears you? That is a relationship with God, that he hears you when you talk to him. Let's finish this up. "Love the Lord, all you his saints. The Lord preserves the faithful, but abundantly repays the one who acts in pride." Don't be prideful, or you're going to get what's coming to you. Pride comes before a fall. Don't be prideful. Be humble. Call upon the Lord. Verse 24, "Be strong, and let your heart take courage, all you who wait for the Lord." This is a time that might be rough for many people out there with financial things, with health issues. This is a time to put all of your trust in the Lord for everything that he's going to bring to you. And this is not some health and wealth gospel like you're going to hear on, preachers on TV and stuff. The Bible doesn't say that all the good things come to those that trust in the Lord. Ultimately, in eternal fruition, they do. But here on this life, it may be tough. It may get worse. It's probably going to get bad out there. But it doesn't mean that he is not with you. It doesn't mean that he doesn't care. And he doesn't mean that he's not going to listen to you and intervene for you when you call upon him. He is someone you can trust in. He is all you've got, and he's all you need. I will see you next time. Day of Battle out.